We're going to start today's video off with immediately talking about Paolo Banchero, who's about a year and a half into his very young NBA career. He was the #1 overall pick in the 2022 NBA draft, selected by the Orlando Magic, and from the very first moment that Paolo Banchero stepped onto an NBA court, it was very apparent that he was going to have a long and a special NBA career. In his debut game against the Detroit Pistons, he achieved something that hadn't been achieved since rookie LeBron James, and that was finish the first game of your career with at least 25 points, at least 5 rebounds, and at least 5 assists. In the debut game against the Detroit Pistons, Paolo Banchero, he tallied 27 points to go along with 9 rebounds and 5 assists. So to start your NBA career off immediately putting yourself in a category with LeBron James, that is nothing short of a great sign. And from that moment forward, Paolo Banchero was nothing short of spectacular. He was nothing short of special, and I think he passed both the eye test and the number test with flying colors. What I saw from Paolo Banchero with my eyes when he hit the quote-unquote rookie wall, he still figured out a way to impact the game for himself and also for the Orlando Magic as a team. Still hitting the glass, still racking up assists and creating plays. And then also something that was so impressive as a rookie, when his shot wasn't falling as much as he liked it to, he was still able to get to the free throw line. So I thought what we saw from Paolo Banchero, we throw the numbers out, he looked like he was going to be a fantastic player in this league. And then we consider the numbers. Paolo Banchero, his rookie stat line was insane, averaging 20 points per game, led his team in scoring as a rookie, averaging 6.9. We're going to round up. We're going to give him 7 boards per game. And then also he averaged 3.7 assists per game. So Paolo Banchero, he was extremely consistent as a scorer for the Orlando Magic. I believe he scored 20 points more than 40 times on the season, and he also broke the record for a rookie for the most 30-point games in a single season with 6 30-point games. So Paolo Banchero, his rookie campaign was spectacular. Obviously, he ended up winning the Rookie of the Year award. And despite all the great things we just named about Paolo Banchero in his rookie campaign, it wasn't enough to land him and the Orlando Magic a nationally televised game during his rookie campaign. And shocker, this was the first time that this has happened to a #1 overall pick in 11 years. And this just honestly makes no sense for the NBA to do this, because we know that they do have the ability to change around the nationally televised schedule. You know, we see it all the time when certain teams lose a player or two and they become really bad and they have a bunch of nationally televised games. The NBA will move it around so that those games are not broadcasted. So they can't really use the excuse that it was a set schedule. If they wanted the Orlando Magic and Paolo Banchero on a nationally televised slot, they could have definitely made it happen. So that right there, the NBA can't really use that as an excuse. And then also, we can't say that the Orlando Magic last season wasn't competitive. I know that they didn't get into the playoffs or they didn't get into the play-in tournament, but they was making teams work each and every night, and they did, I believe, win 34 ball games, which is respectable. And I think for me personally, where I'm the most disappointed at in the NBA, I feel like Paolo Banchero, I feel like he's a specimen. I feel like he's definitely something we have not seen before, and I think he has the potential to be a superstar in this NBA. And when we look at him being 6'10", 250 pounds, and then he can do literally everything at a high level on the offensive side of the ball. We never really seen a player with the ability to play with his back to the basket like Paolo Banchero, he has legit footwork, he has legit post moves down there, but he can also take you out to the perimeter. I could put some highlights in this video, a bunch of clips of Paolo Banchero breaking down smaller players, putting together dribble moves to get by smaller, quicker guys. So I feel like the NBA should have found they should have found at least one way to get Paolo Banchero, especially he was having a historic rookie season. Him and the Orlando Magic, they should have got one nationally televised game, and then you would think they would make it a little bit better this season. We fast forward to this season, still just one more game after having the historic rookie season, and then after having 0 nationally televised games last season, we go to this year. Paolo Banchero and his teammates and his organization still just get one nationally televised game, and that was in February against the Oklahoma City Thunder. And this season, once again, the Orlando Magic, they're a lot better than they were last season, and they currently have the 4th seed in the Eastern Conference. So I just wanted to give Paolo Banchero some additional flowers because I think he deserves them 100%. Me personally, I think he's a very unique talent. I really love talking about his game. I feel like he affects the game of basketball in a very fun way, but in so many different ways and so many different aspects. So I feel like him and the Orlando Magic, I think they definitely deserve some more marketing from the NBA, whether it's from the social media team, whether it's more nationally televised game, whether it's getting debated about on shows like First Take or all these shows that they have on ESPN. And it really kills me when they say they don't talk about certain teams because they're afraid it'll hurt their viewership, and that just makes no sense to me. That ESPN and all these companies on TV, they have the best resources, they have the best talking heads, but they can only talk about 5 to 6 teams. I feel like if you have all these resources and you have the best of the best, you should be able to talk about a team and make it entertaining for every team in the league, not just the same 5 or 6 teams. But that's just my opinion. And as good as Paolo Banchero has been this season, the Orlando Magic, they've been really good as a team. And as a matter of fact, they've been on fire as of late. Right now, they are currently 4th in the Eastern Conference with a record of 36-27. They've jumped back up to 4th place. Since the All-Star break, they've been on fire. They won 8 out of their last 10, and they are currently on a 5-game winning streak. And the Orlando Magic, they're not some fluke team. This is a team that has an identity, and their identity is on the defensive side of the ball. They rank 4th in the league in defensive rating, and I think this is perfect for a team like the Orlando Magic when you have a young team with so many developing players. Even with Paolo Banchero, as good as he's been this season, getting into his first All-Star game, averaging almost 23 points per game, he is still a very young basketball player that is still developing. So same thing with guys like Franz Wagner, with Jalen Suggs. All these guys are still very young and they're still developing. So for Coach Mosley to get these guys to buy into that defensive identity and keep them competitive, and now they're figuring out how to score the ball more, score the ball efficiently. Now they move back up to a top 4 team in the Eastern Conference. So I think the Orlando Magic, they're a very fun team. They can beat you in so many different ways. They have different players step up each and every night. Right now they have 6 guys averaging double figures. 2 of them are averaging 20 plus. That's Paolo Banchero and Franz Wagner. So I think the Orlando Magic, it looks like they're gonna have a secure spot in the playoffs this season. I think they're going to be a tough out in the playoffs with their they're kind of unpredictable sometimes on the offensive side of the ball, and then they have that effect to lock you down defensively. So the playoffs in both conferences this year is going to be very interesting, very fun to watch. Me personally, I cannot wait. I feel like we're going to get a vibe to these playoffs where it's like just super ultra competitive, kind of like in the early 2010s, the mid 2010s. So that's going to be it for today's video. If you guys enjoyed, please leave a like. Sorry if it kind of seemed like I was all over the place, but I really do feel like Paolo Banchero should be talked about a lot more. And then if you enjoyed, please subscribe for more weekly content. We do this all the time, man, and that's curtains.